Thank you so much for guys for being here. And then my name is Denise. Oh, let me click my present. Okay, it's right here. So I'm going to just do a standing presentation somehow. So my name is Denise. I'm coming from VeeR. We are based in China. So today, what I'm going to share is a topic around 3DOF content distribution and monetization. So may I actually have a quick poll in the crowd today, say, it's going to be a harsh question, by the way, just wondering that for our creators or studios that are on site today, is any of you think that you have already do a successful monetization model for your content so far? Okay. Oh, okay. I see. There's one. Okay. No. I'm not surprised, but I hope that my presentation today. So I actually have one good news and one bad news for you. So the bad news is that the presentation today, even though my topic is surrounding like distribution and monetization, but it's not going to give any like secret tips on how to monetize, how to do the full monetization in the short run. But the good news is that there are a couple of models that we have tried or tested out in the market. I really would like to share with you, and hopefully this is going to give some kind of like insights for your upcoming projects. So the first one is that what's the best content to create? So VeeR is a content, we are a VeeR content distribution platform, and then today the topic is actually surrounding that the more how we say is the more like commercial facing content. So we're talking about that, what kind of a content that we are looking into that consumers are watching, they are consuming today, because as a content platform that's the question that we got asked quite a lot by creators available on our platform, and then and then that's some kind of questions that we would like to answer. So the answer to that one is what we are talking about, the best content for us, that the content to have a better distribution or monetization so far right now we've seen is, even because when we were in the XR market yesterday, we actually talked to a lot of creators who's doing like amazing content right now, and then a lot of them are doing sick stuff, of course, and then we also discussed the 3DOF content right now. But from our point of view, I think that right now the content is in need of the original 3DOF VeeR content. The reason why, I will list out three, but please feel free to raise your hands if you're not agree, and then we can actually have a discussion around that. There are three points that we're actually raising right now, because first one is, as you know, that since the last year, the overall shipping amount of the HMD devices actually increased quite a lot. It was like more than 400% of the increase, which means that there are more general HMD users in the market right now. And then also based on, we have done a user survey last year in Q4 and asking like 500 HMD users in the market, and asking them that what kind of a content you are playing in with your device right now. So not surprisingly, around 89% of them are playing games with their HMD, but also there are like close to 50% of the audience, they are constantly consuming what we call like VeeR entertainment content with the headsets, where this is like actually a really, really strong need right now in the market, but the overall supply is far behind the demand, I would say, especially in the Chinese market, because since our company is based in China, because we know that the overall amount of the 3DOF content got produced in the market is far less than what the demand is right now in the market. So to fill in this gap, that we need. And also following that with what we want to share is this is some kind of a data that we actually have on our platform. We'd like to share with you because we have run a paywall system, and then in terms of like online monetization model, to have the content listed in and then provided to be to provide the access to for people to be able to purchase. This is some kind of a data we see is on our platform. What's interesting is that when is 68% of the purchase the purchase audience, they actually purchase the content directly when they log in our app. So what's interesting about that is when they see a good content or good pay content, premium content available on the platform, they don't actually went through this kind of a really long thinking process and considering like, hey, should I do this? Should I purchase it? Is it good? Is it not good or something like that? They actually 68% of those users actually just directly do the purchasing, and 60%. So in average, the completion rate of the content is actually 60%. So for this completion rate, what we also see is that it's much more than the average performance of the combination of the paid content and the free content. So the satisfaction of this content is generally more higher than the others. The third number I would like to share with you guys is that when we think about that, whether the paid content model works or not online, we actually observe that the average purchase for the audience is 3. So which means that they in average they purchase like 3 paid contents when they if they do that. So which also, because of these numbers, that also give us more confidence that the online distribution model is actually have somehow like the promising, and it will work. And these are the genres that it would be quite interesting to see that what genre are really popular when we are talking about like the more consumer or commercial facing content. So there are 6 genres right here. The first one is the film animation, more cinematic content. Second one is space and science content, which is more educational piece. Third one is travel, relaxing content available on our platform. And so as you see, like the documentary and performance and horror, which is a really classic genre right now in VR, which is really, really popular to the audience. So these are the 6 genres we do observe like extremely popular on our platform, but they are slightly different because this is not actually listed by ranking, because what we have observed is that the popularity of these genres is slightly different in the mainland China market or compared to the overseas market. For example, when we take the numbers out from the Oculus Go, we see that in foreign countries, for example, in foreign countries, yes, the film animation content and plus the horror content are extremely popular, whereas in China, that the space content, the travel relaxing content, and performance contents are performing better than the others. So they are slightly different compared to like based on the location of the user. But at the same time, that there one particular content format that we would like to mention is the interactive content. We're always talking about like a 3DOF content is not necessarily like a 3DOF passive viewing experience. There is some kind of engagement we can actually provide to the audience with the interactions. So for us, what we do, we actually done one we shot one interactive content earlier and then test it on our platform. Is right now available in China. Is the immersive version of the Alice in Wonderland, and we make it a interactive version. So that's actually listed as a paid content right now in China. The sales of this type of content is actually quite impressive, I would say, because it's more than the other content that were listed before on our platform. So which also give us some kind of like an insight on how this content can actually be a more like interesting format that we can actually explore in the next stage in terms of like content creation and things. And the next one is about the distribution and monetization in a bigger roadmap. Because after you've done one content, you probably consider like where you want to put this content on, is what kind of like options you have right now in the market, online and offline. So this is actually a VeeR, the distribution mapping online for your rep. Just sharing it. So yeah, so in online distribution, we actually map into like three different categories, I would say. So first one is the HMD, where like the headsets, right? The second one is the mobile, and the third one is the web. So actually, the app included right there is excluding the Oculus Studio or the Viveport Studio, but this is more like a developed by developers right now. So for the HMD mobile and website, we see that there are a couple of different apps that actually are available across different platforms. The reason why we think that the cross platform distribution is kind of like important right now at this stage of the VeeR is because they also have different purpose. For example, in HMD, that users with the headsets that can actually experience the VeeR content to the maximum. They have the full immersive experience. They can engage with in VeeR. But how are we going to actually reach out to how are we going to actually get this medium to reach out to a wider audience, make people access to this kind of content and get a feeling of what exactly is what kind of content exactly is right now in the market. So that's where like mobile and website comes in, that they can serve a role as like for example like marketing or promotion to reach out to a wider audience, to the audience outside of the VeeR circle. And then so out of this distribution devices, there are certain different monetization model that's available right now in the market. It would be these three. The first one is not monetization, but it's somehow kind of like a promotion as well. So there are three different models right now. For example, the first one is free to view. Second one is the TVOD, and the third one is SVOD model. So for the TVOD model, that apparently there are a lot of platforms doing that, like YouTube VeeR, like us, and then Samsung within Amaze, that we all have like the free contents to be available on our platform. So the good thing about the free to view model is that it helps to reach out to a if you're creating content that aiming to reach out to a wider audience, then to get more views, then that's actually a really good model to go with. But then the TVOD model right now is like a by transaction, so transactional video on demand model. So currently they're like for us, for example, like us, or Gala is doing that, Amaze is doing that as well. So the audience that they consume the content by they pay to view by each transaction. So that's that's how it works right now. And then the third model is more like a SVOD model. So currently there are two, Gala and Amaze are doing that. But we are actually developing that model. But for us, we think that is someone need to reach out to a volume, both the content side and the audience side, to reach a volume to have this subscription model work. But we actually think about that as well. So these are the I would say like three different type of like a payment model right now available for different VR contents to be distributed online. And it's pretty much depending on that the goal you guys like for example from the creator's point of view or studio's point of view, what's your key goal to reach in terms of the distribution? Online, because just follow what Zila just mentioned just now, is that the online model actually for us that can reach the current HMD users all over the world, but somehow it also got its limitation because we always discuss that how we can actually break the VR circle and reach out to a even wider audience. And then that's where the LBE comes in, that have different pop-ups to reach out to a normal audience, introduce this new media to the to grandmas, to young kids, or to younger generations, and then let them experience it. So I think for the LBE, I won't mention too much because I believe that it also mentioned a lot. But I would like to elaborate more on the two models that we are actually trying out in the Chinese market. I think this is something that I would like to share with you guys. So there are two models. Actually, there are three. There's another one is more like a pop-up in the malls and things like that. But for example, like the classic VR cinemas, and that in the permanent location where audience can access this type of content, whether it's 3DOF or 6DOF, they can come to a specific location to see it. So it do provide a really good somehow immersive experience for the audience. They can come to the location, chill, and then have the full experience with it. So that's really, really good. But what we always thinking about is that how can the VR be even more accessible to a wider audience? Is it enough to just have a VR cinema or something like that? Or the answer is this just for us, I think the answer is no. And then there's a trial or pilot that we are doing right now is to make a more like a self-service portal terminals available to be to place in different, for example, like to be placed in different locations where people want to experience. They have some time. They have some time for some like this type of experience. So this is the second one, that is the self-server terminal in some area. So I have a video to showing that how it works. Is actually pretty easy because users just need to scan the QR code, and then they can select what kind of content they want to watch, and then put on the headset, and they can start enjoying the content. The reason for that is because for a lot of LB locations, that the audience are first timers to VR. So we're thinking using this model to, firstly, to lower the barrier of the usage, that is easy to operate, and then also to provide a good content and good story that can actually have this kind of like the first time VR experience that make them want to come back again, or even just get a headset and become our next VR headset user. So I'm going to demonstrate the video really quick. It's in Chinese, but I would share. I'll just. So this literally just the portal, the device needed to be placed in each location. So they scan the QR code. This is the app pop in, and then they just pay via WeChat or Alipay. Choose the content they want to watch, and then put on the headset. That's it. Yeah. Yes. So, so that's the really simple three-step terminal for users to access this content, and to be able to get more users to get more content to be available on this terminal. I think the 3DOF content is actually currently we believe that is actually an easier way to be deployed into this kind of different LBE locations and make it accessible. So for us, I think that we are a very early stage in VR, and then we often at times that we're talking about breaking this kind of VR bubble to make VR available for more people. But I think that the first thing at least for personally, I think that is to how besides creating the great content that people can enjoy, but also like how we can actually make VR more approachable for the general audience, that they can enjoy whatever they want. They can start to building up these kind of like habits, and then they can later on become our next generation of the VR adopters. So that's the presentation for today. Yeah, so any questions from the floor, feel free to jump.
In your last example, the content is unique, or there are many content that
there are multiple contents right now. So there are multiple, so they can choose what they want to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not something recorded in the headset, because it looks like a box you buy and you have the content already inside, or you have to be connected to online to see the content?
It gotta be connected. So it's like you scan the QR code, and then there's a mini app pop up, and it tells you that what are available right now in this headset, and they can choose whatever they want to watch, and just put up the headset, and then they can start watch it.
Okay,
yeah.
So it has to be connected to your smartphone. This is not something the whole system where you have everything.
It doesn't need to connect to a smartphone, but it's just like we have this kind of like mini app controls the headset.
Yes.
What I mean, because literally the headset is the smartphone itself.
But the content is online.
The content is online. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they can stream it, or they can pre-download and then start to watch it.
Okay.
Yes.
Your business model for content. Sorry. Thank you. What is your business model for content provider? Your revenue proposition?
For our platform.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're currently working with a lot of like creators from all over the world. So there are a couple different models that we're working together. For example, if it's free to view, they're like a licensing model, or like some of content that was just like, okay, I wanna have a more view, and I want to work together with you guys to do marketing. They will be willing to upload it for free. And currently for the paid content, we will have like minimum guarantee plus revenue share, or like a revenue share model to get us work together. But it's pretty much depending on the content itself and in the deal structure. Yeah, but there are a couple of different options right now.
Hi there. Thanks for your talk. In your previous slide about content distribution mapping, your illustration, you had two acronyms, TVOD and SVOD. What do those mean?
Is the transactional video on demand. Is like so TVOD is more like to like pay by per content, and the SVOD is more like subscription model. Yes.
A lot of people were quite upset by VeeR on 2016. They thought that would be a huge thing for the public, though it was not such a success. And I would like you to give us your view about the last attempt of Oculus with the Oculus Quest, which targets the public. Do you think that it could bring something? Because there are some apps that really amaze people, though. So do you think that will be a beginning of the things, of something that will attract the public, the large public, to VR?
I think personally, I really like Quest, because the first time I experienced, I was like, oh, I want to get one myself. So definitely, I think that the Quest is going to open another another world for us in VR. Like more people would actually access to it. But right now, I think it's still like Quest is more targeted to the gamers, because there are like 50 titles right now, and then mostly are games. But later on, that when we want to get it to more, I think we hope that it will, and believe that it's actually going to get more people to VR.
We're running out of time.
Okay,
I'm very sorry.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, we can talk later. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Denise.